Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you have watched the other videos on this channel on the Housewives of Potomac Season 1. And so I just wanted to get some comments going and some discussion going, so feel free to watch those videos and give some comments and I'll reply back to you. But this video is going to be about the Housewives of Potomac Season 1, and we'll focus on the social media buzz and what some of the emphasis has been in social media on some of the cast members. So let's start with one person who is not an cast member and who received some comments online about who's the lady in this yellow romper at the crab boil that Charisse hosted. And that is a woman who was initially interviewed, I suppose, to be part of the cast, and then somehow they decided that they either wanted to go in the direction of another cast member or something, but it turns out that she's going to be filming with some of the ladies as a friend of one of the housewives. And so let's get into maybe what could have influenced the decision for her not to be one of the cast members. So Brene Baylor has given interviews, and she has mentioned that she was disbarred as an attorney, and she consented to being disbarred, and so apparently some agreement was reached, but her client actually committed suicide, and so there was a big investigation with the involving the SEC, and apparently, you know, investors lost millions, and so that situation may have influenced the decision of Bravo not to make her one of the cast members, even though they certainly are having her on camera in discussions and talking and interacting with the cast members. And so this information is online, and it was a $2.7 million investment fraud scheme. And so, you know, after the disbarment, I'm sure that she has decided to, you know, take another direction professionally, and maybe Bravo just did not want to have her as a cast member because of that, or maybe they're going to put her into the cast officially later on, you know, after they see kind of what the audience reaction has been when she is interacting with the cast members on camera. And so maybe they're just waiting to see, but clearly that is who the lady is in the yellow romper, since a lot of people were commenting for some reason on that yellow romper at Charisse's event. And apparently this was at one time her home, and it is no more. But as you can see, it's a, you know, fairly typical house that you would find in the suburbs of Maryland. And usually homes in Maryland that are about 1 million or 1.2 or 1.5 are kind of average for a so-called upscale suburb that tends to be predominantly white in the Maryland area. So it wouldn't be the high end, particularly in a suburb where there's a lot of other homes that cost a lot more. And 1 million would probably be about average in that particular area. And here's the shot that everyone happened to be talking about, unless they were talking about another shot. But that's kind of what started the who's the lady in the yellow romper. So other than that particular lady who is not on the official cast, another social media buzz has been surrounding Katie, of course, and her very fervent interest in being married to Andrew. And I mentioned in my comment that there's been a lot of interpretation from other women online and comments that they're making that somehow she's begging Andrew to marry her, and I stated that's not the case at all in my other video. So watch that video, because she posted a tweet that pretty much confirmed what I had already explained. And here you see her responding to someone who was advising her not to be begging, and she clarified that she isn't begging. And that is exactly what I had said in my other video. One thing that I think that causes many women to think that it's begging if you insist upon what your expectations are with a man is that there are women who have been conditioned to just accept whatever a man does and whatever a man wants to do. And that's why there's just so many women who just have baby after baby, get pregnant, he leaves you, he's not taking care of children. Then there's another man that enters the situation, same scenario occurs, pregnancy, the man isn't marrying, the man isn't proposing marriage before the pregnancy or after, visits the children when he feels like it, gives however much money he feels like it, pays child support if he feels like it. And some women are so used to that lifestyle of just accepting whatever a man is going to do, that when a woman like Katie comes along and is not getting pregnant before she marries Andrew, but is insisting on him making a decision, and they've been in a relationship for, I don't know, a year and a half. I think that other women interpret that differently. She has every right to make a demand. She's a mother of 3. Her ex-husband is a doctor, so he is probably able to financially care for the children very well and all of that. And there's no reason for her not to insist on marriage. After a year and a half, children tend to start to bond with a person. And clearly, as a mother, a single mother, she would not want her children to continue to forge a bond with a man who is not going to make a lifetime commitment. So by all means, she should be insisting on that and insisting on a timeline of when he wants to be married. And if he is not interested in marriage, then she should definitely move on. And that's just for her as well as for her children. You don't just get in relationships with men and then they get used to a man being around and they create an emotional bond, and then that man is gone because he didn't want to be married. So absolutely, she's doing the right thing. It certainly is not begging. I think women who interpret that may be women who are just used to, a man being able to do whatever he wants to do. And there's a lot of social media chatter out there saying, don't try to pin a man down, don't try to do this and that. And look, Andrew is willing to be in a relationship with her. He knew she had 3 children before he met her. He knew her desire to get married. I'm sure that she didn't just bring that up after a year and a half. And actually, her mother is the one who met Andrew and introduced them. So clearly, Andrew already knew going into the situation that is what she was desiring. For the next step in her life is to be remarried. So maybe, part of his character on the show is to be kind of evasive or elusive about it. But my expectation is that he is going to either come around and propose or maybe not. But clearly, this wasn't a surprise to him that she was fervently seeking remarriage. This is a wonderful picture of Robin. She is clearly the most beautiful of the cast this season. And I think that she will have to finally come to a conclusion that she can do better than Juan. He was in the NBA, squandered his NBA money. It really isn't that difficult to support a wife in the NBA with just both of you. She did indicate kind of in her one-on-one interview that the real estate market crashed and the stock market crashed, but she wasn't saying that they had heavily invested in either of those industries. She was just mentioning mentioning the economy kind of vaguely. But when you're in the NBA, you can support a wife by yourself. And, you know, even if you had a wife and 2 children, which most of his career in the NBA, I don't even believe he had any children at that particular time. Certainly, he just mismanaged his money and wasn't thinking long term while he was in the NBA, and they got in trouble.